Hey kids, begging your pardon. I'm not going to do the voice the whole time. Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and this is Artistic Antics LLC, and today we're going to be doing Beetlejuice inspired soap. This soap is inspired by Beetlejuice's iconic outfit with the stripes, and then it's got some fluffy green soap on the top like his hair. And then on top, I don't have a beetle mold, so we're going to use a bug mold that has ladybugs, bumblebees, and butterflies, and we're going to use the ladybugs and bumblebees for the top here. We're going to color this with a multi-chrome mica powder so that it shifts from brown to green, and we're going to put that in the top of our fluffy soap. The soap is scented with a backwoods hike fragrance oil, which is really woodsy and really fun, very Beetlejuice, very undead. I love it. So if you're interested in that, stick around. Without further ado, we're going to get started here with our ingredients and materials. This time it's going to be very little ingredients and materials because it's a black and white soap. So starting over here, we have our insect mold. We have our 10-inch silicone bar mold. We got something to cut our soap with, cutting board, about a pound of clear glycerin soap, about 2.5 pounds of goat milk soap, or 2 pounds of goat milk soap. We got a green color block for the fluffy soap, and we've got a black color block for the black layers and the bugs. Our backwoods hike fragrance oil. Got our multi-chrome mica here, a makeup brush to put on the mica. And we haven't seen this before. This is liquid glycerin. This is going to help us make our fluffy soap later. Without further ado, let's get started. I forgot. We also need a pitcher to pour our soap into, and a digital scale. Dang it! Without further ado, let's get into the whole being dead thing. First of all, we're going to do our first black layer. Our black layers, we're going to use clear glycerin soap. It's going to show the black color block a lot better than the white glycerin soap. We're going to use the white goat milk soap for our beetles because we're going to be coloring over those with mica. But for the really black stripes that we want, we're going to use clear glycerin soap and our black color block. So we're going to go ahead and cut 8 ounces, half of a pound of our clear glycerin soap. Put it into our pitcher here. All right, we got our 8 ounces of clear glycerin soap. We're also going to take our black color block. We're going to cut 1/4 of it. We're going to use all of the black color block today, so make sure to save the rest of it for later. Just cut that block into quarters. And then take 1/4. Shave it down real small so that it melts better in the microwave. And throw that into your pitcher with your clear soap. We're going to put this in the microwave at 30-second intervals, stirring in between with a spoon until it's fully melted. That's about 1 minute of being in the microwave. Go ahead and take your spoon, stir, stir, stir. And then since this is already mostly stirred, I'm just going to pop it back in for no time. No time. It is all the way melted. I forgot an ingredient. For those of you that caught that I forgot an ingredient at the very beginning of the instructions, good on you. You get 10 points. Isopropyl alcohol, 99% isopropyl alcohol. You're going to need that. It helps the layers stick together. You should know this already if you watch my channel. It's the mystery bottle that's in every single video. All right, that is fully stirred in. We're going to move over to our 10-inch silicone loaf mold here. Go ahead and get your isopropyl alcohol ready, because what are we going to do? We're going to spritz on top to get rid of any bubbles. Go ahead and pour in your black layer, your first black striped layer. Wonderful. Kill the bubbles. That's all for now. We can make our bugs if we want to do that. So to do that, you're going to get your bug mold, and then you're going to color the inside of the mold, which is why this is messy as hell, because I don't use this mold for anything else besides the Beetlejuice soaps, because I don't want to clean it off. We're actually going to take our multichrome mica here in our makeup brush, and we're just going to dab the mica inside of the bugs that we're going to want to use. You're going to want 10 bugs total to go on top of the soap, because this loaf mold makes 10 1-inch soap bars. So we're going to want 10 bugs, 1 bug per soap. So it looks like that. Unscrew this and lightly dab, dab, dab. And then you're going to just color in the inside of your molds just like that. Time lapse. Time lapse over. Okay, now we're going to measure out 8 ounces of the goat's milk soap and 1/4 of our black color block. We're going to use that to pour our bugs. Do you like my bug art? I don't really mind if you hate my bug art. You guys know what I'm talking about? Cut up your 1/4 of black color block. I like to put the color block in first because I think it helps it melt down all the way first. Tear it after putting the color block in, and then measure out 8 ounces. Of the goat milk soap. Perfect. Microwave this at 30-second bursts until it's completely melted.
Daddy's in denial. Daddy doesn't want to feel. He wants me to smile and clap like I'm performing. Feel. Ignore it for a while, but Daddy's lost his mind for real.
This is about 1 minute of melting. Go ahead and take your spoon, stir, stir, stir. And I'm going to be able to just stir all that in without having to pop it back in the microwave there. Go ahead and put it on your digital scale, tare it, and add your fragrance oil. It's going to be 0.2 ounces since this is goat milk soap. Goat milk soap, the recommended amount of fragrance oil is up to 0.4 ounces per pound. This is half of a pound of soap, so we're going to be adding 0.2 ounces. And then stir, stir, stir that fragrance oil in. Once your fragrance oil is completely stirred in, go back over to your bug molds. Then you're going to just pour your soap into the mold. Then spray the top of your bugs with isopropyl alcohol. Now that I'm looking at this, we probably could have done 4 ounces of goat milk soap and then 1/4 of the black color block, because this is going to be way too many bugs. If you made too many bugs, just put more bugs on the top of your soap, or use them as soap embeds, or like travel soaps. That's a great way. We're going to let these set until it is solid to the touch. See you back here in 10 minutes.
I've been doing my homework and I want to talk to you about something.
Do you think your eyes are a little too smoky for every day?
Yeah, I'm going through a phase. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay.
La 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 la. Next layer, white layer, hence the pinstripe suit. We're going for a pinstripe suit vibe. White layer, don't need any fragrance oil. Where is my pitcher? What? Guess I'll get another one. In between doing the black and white layers, you might want to rinse out your pitcher because it is black color block. You can just rinse it out in the sink with some hot water, wipe it out with a paper towel, and then you're good to go. Okay, we're gonna have 8 ounces again. This is going to be a little bit of a repetitive recipe because it's just 8 ounces black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white over and over. Kind of like saying Beetlejuice over and over, but that can get you some good things. Throw that in the microwave for 30 seconds at a time, stirring in between. You know, you and I, we've been friends for a long time. I think I can talk to you pretty frankly. You think there's a reason why I don't have any meaningful relationships in my life? Oh, that's the bell. That's what it looks like after about a minute. Just stir, stir, stir to make sure to break up any clumps. Get the clumps completely stirred in and melted with the rest of the soap. Once your soap is completely melted, go ahead and put it on your digital scale, tare that. And then for goat milk soap, it is 0.4 ounces per pound. This is half a pound of soap, so we're going to do 0.2 ounces. Perfect. And stir, stir, stir in your fragrance oil. We're going to take our isopropyl alcohol, spritz it before spraying in our next layer, and then immediately afterwards, pour in your next layer of soap. Then spray the top once you're done. I'm going to go ahead and check on our bug embeds. You don't like my bug art, and that's okay. Going to go ahead and unmold these. We want 10. So far we got 8, so I'm just going to make 2 more. You can't really see the color shift because the light is coming straight from here, but it's going from green to brown. You can kind of see at the edges it looks more brown, and then on the highlighted part it looks green. So we're going to have 10 of those. I'm just going to place them right there.
You don't want my
Bug art, it's okay. A lot of people, they just don't like bugs, and that's fine.
All right, and then if you have extra soap left over from making your bug embeds the first time, you can go ahead and melt that down in the microwave. Melt that down in like 10-second increments, just so that we avoid that soap getting too hot until it's fully melted. And go ahead and use that to pour the rest of your bugs. While that's melting down, I'm going ahead and color the last 2 molds. Go ahead and pour your last 2 bugs. Spritz the top of them with isopropyl alcohol. And then we're going to wait for this white layer to set, come back to our other black layer, keep doing that on repeat.
What? It's just an ordinary crabby.
It's been about 15 minutes. Check the top. That's solid. We're going to do another black layer. That is 8 ounces of clear glycerin soap and 1/4 of your black color block. I'm just going to chuck that in there. Tear that. Sometimes you got to play outside the rules. Am I right? I could have been a lawyer, but here I am instead. In hell, making soap. We all have choices in life. Put that in the microwave for 30-second increments, stirring in between. Alright, and then just stir that in until all your soap base is fully combined with your color block. Then once your soap base is fully stirred in, go ahead and put that on your digital scale, tare that, and then it's going to be 0.2 ounces of fragrance oil again. 0.1 ounces of fragrance oil. This is the clear glycerin soap. I tricked you! I tricked you and you fell for it! Stir, stir, stir. Once your fragrance oil is completely incorporated, go ahead and take your isopropyl alcohol, spray that on the top of your soap loaf, and pour your next layer. Nailed it. Perfect. Wonderful. We're going to let that set for another 10-15 minutes. Check on my bug art. My bugs are not set yet. Check that layer. Seems like it's just about set. Another 8 ounces of goat's milk soup. Put that in the microwave, 30-second increments until it's all melted, stirring in between. So you know the singer Billie Eilish? She actually got her hair from me. Yeah, I was the inspiration. She doesn't really talk about that much because, you know, we're on the down low, but it was actually me the whole time. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody I told you that. It's an industry secret. Stir, stir, stir till you get all the chunks out. Put it on your digital scale, tare it, and then that's going to be 0.2 ounces, because it's goat milk soap, of fragrance oil. Stir all your fragrance oil in. Get your isopropyl alcohol, and then we're going to spritz it, pour it, spray the top. No bloops, no bloops, no bloops. Blooped! So it's blooping because I'm not stirring it all the way. So there's some chunks of unmelted soap base. So don't be like me. Melt your soap in all the way. If you're impatient, like I clearly am, put it in the microwave for another 10 seconds. We're gonna wait another 10 minutes to let this set. Take our last bugs out of the molds. Ready? Yeah! You betrayed me. Let's try that again. Ready? Yeah! Nobody wants to fly today, I guess. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it to fly.
I need it!
It's been 10 minutes later. Check that. That is ready for the next layer. This is going to be our final black layer. And then we're going to do the whipped soap and the embed on top. So once again, 1/4 of our black color block, and then 8 ounces of the clear glycerin soap. Microwave, 30 seconds, stirring in between.
You're my heart, my destination, and I'm your clone, your strange creation.
Stir, stir, stir to get any clumps out. And then we learn from our mistakes and knowing ourselves more fully, being a little bit more self-aware. We're going to pop that back into the microwave for 8 seconds or so to just get the rest of those clumps out of the soap. Life is all about learning and growing and finding out who you are and trying to move forward in a way that won't hurt yourself or others. And that's what we did today. We learned and we grew, and we're moving forward in a new positive light. No clumps. All right, put that on your scale, tare that. 0.1 ounces of fragrance. Make sure you got your isopropyl alcohol. Got it. Stir in your fragrance oil, and then get ready to pour your last striped layer. Spritz, 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 and pour. And no chunks. And we are all the better for it. Spray the top to pop any bubbles. We're gonna let that set for another 10 minutes or so. Come back and I'll show you how to do the fluffy green soap on top. Hey, you know, so we hang out a lot, work-wise, and I was just kind of wondering if maybe you would be interested in doing something like grab a glass of juice or something like that. You got plans for now until eternity? Yeah, okay. All right, now it's time to make the fluffy green soap. Before I get started, I want to let you know I did not come up with this method. I first saw this method from Before Bed LLC here on YouTube. If you're interested, I would recommend checking them out. Like their video, that is where I got this technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure out 6 ounces of our goat's milk melt and pour soap base and 1/4 of our green chrome color block. You got to keep in mind when adding color to the whipped soap that the color is going to lighten when you whip it because you're adding air to it. So you always want to add a little bit more color than you think you're going to need. Tare your scale and add your 6 ounces of goat milk soap base. Throw that in the microwave for 30-second increments until it is all melted. After 1 minute, it looks like that. Ready to add our fragrance oil. Go ahead and put it on your scale. For goat's milk soap, 6 ounces is going to be 0.15 ounces of fragrance oil. Go ahead and add that. And now this is where the game changer is. We are also going to add 0.15 ounces of our liquid glycerin. You can use liquid glycerin, or if you want to just use like regular liquid hand soap that you can get from the drugstore, it's going to have that fragrance, whatever fragrance you get from it, but that's a good substitute if you don't want to get specifically like liquid glycerin. But this is fragrance free besides the fragrance oil that we're going to be adding into it. So if you're going to be selling your soap bars, I recommend liquid glycerin. And then I'm going to take my whisk and make a bunch of loud noise while whisking it. Now you see it's gotten all fluffy. So the more liquid glycerin that you add, the wider the air pockets are going to be, the fluffier it's going to get. So we're going to come over here. I like to do it until like just the top is moving so it's not sloshing around, but it is a nice thick consistency. We're going to come over here to our loaf. Have your bugs ready because this part is going to be relatively quick. Also have a ruler at the ready. Go ahead and set that on the side of your soap mold just to get it ready for the next step, so that your 0 starts at the end of your soap mold, 10 should be over here at the other end, because we're going to be putting our bugs in 1 inch at a time. Grab your isopropyl alcohol, spritz, spritz, spritz on top. And now a quick note is that we are not going to spritz after pouring this. So go ahead and pour this in because the isopropyl alcohol pops bubbles, and this is mainly bubbles. So if we sprayed the isopropyl alcohol on top, then it would really get rid of this beautiful fluffy soap we have here. Now this next part can be a little bit tricky. The next part is going to be putting the bugs in, and it has a lot to do with consistency, because if you put the bugs in now when it hasn't set up, the bugs are they're very heavy, so they're just going to sink through the foam and you're not going to be able to see them on top. Or what you can do to kind of test it is you can kind of put one in and hold it until you feel like if you were to drop it, it's not going to sink. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 bumblebees I'm going to alternate between bumblebees and ladybugs. You can kind of already see if I were to let that go, that's going to sink a little bit more, so I'm just going to hold it up a little bit more. I'm going to switch hands, then do another bumblebee down here. That's good. Okay, now you got to move quick, because once it starts getting that consistency, it's going to start hardening up really, really quick. And I'm kind of scooping them out of the way, like I'm breaking the top layer of the foam there, so I can get to the thinner, warmer layer that hasn't quite set yet and get it deeper into the foam. Because you don't want to just set them on top, because then they are not going to stick in the foam. Once you cut them, they're just going to fall out. So you want to get the warm part that hasn't set yet. So I'm kind of breaking that layer to set them in. All right, just like that. We're going to let that set for probably a couple of hours up to overnight. Then once we come back, we'll go ahead and cut it.
1 eternity later.
All right, it has been a couple hours. We are now ready to cut into our Beetlejuice inspired soap. We got our cutting guide. You can also use a cutting board. I'm gonna go ahead and use this, and we're gonna be using our wavy cutter today. You can get that in the link in my description. I have not mentioned that yet. This whole recipe will be available in the link in my description for $5. You can also get all of my recipes for the cost of your subscription if you sign up to my Patreon. My Patreon starts as low as $1, and there's many tiers, and yeah, if you want to, you can. I'm going to be using these tools, but you can use a regular kitchen knife if you want to cut your soap and have it have a flat edge. I like having the wavy edge like that, but if you want a flat edge like that, use a regular knife, cut into it. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is unmold our soap. You're going to have to be very careful of the fluffy soap and your soap embeds. So go ahead and peel off the sides of your mold here, just like that. Beautiful. Don't worry if some of the fluffy soap comes off on the side of the mold. It happens. And then you're going to flip it upside down. Be very careful. And then wait for that vacuum seal to break, just like that. Push it out. Grab your soap loaf and pull it out of its mold, just like that. Beautiful. This is 10 soap bars. Now we just have to release them from their prison. Okay, so to ensure that I cut in between all of the embeds, I'm going to go ahead and put it up this way, and you're going to want to cut it horizontally. If you saw the Rainbow Energy soap making or the Boogeyman soap making, you know that if we cut it against the grain, then it's going to put less pressure on the layers of the soap. If you cut it this way, then it could cause the soap layers to break apart. So we're going to go ahead and cut it this way. It's a little bit tricky using the soap cutter when it's vertical like this, but it is worth it. And that is what the cross section will look like. I'm going to go ahead and put that here for later. The reason I don't push my soap all the way back when I'm cutting it is because I actually got this, when I got this, it was broken and I had to glue it back together with wood glue. So this section up here actually is not big enough for my knife to go through, whereas these other sections are. So I use this section as a guide to cut the rest of my sections, in case you wanted to know. But if you guys get a soap cutting guide, you guys should get one that is not broken, and you guys can just push it all the way back. And there is a complete soap bar with a little bug in it.
You don't need to like my bug art. It's okay.
Go ahead and repeat that process, going all the way down your soap loaf until you have it all cut. And I would recommend packaging these. You can wrap them in plastic cling wrap, or you can get some shrink wrap and a heat gun and go ahead and package it like that. That is what I have done to these example bars over here. It's just some plastic cling wrap that I have then shrunk down. These soap bars are slightly more advanced than the Rainbow Energy soap bars, just because we are incorporating the fluffy soap and soap embeds, whereas the Rainbow Energy soap was just the stripes. But if you've mastered the Rainbow Energy soap, this is a great step up to learn some new soap making techniques. And then the ends will always have one side that is wavy like that and one side that is flat. You can choose to cut the end of that if you would like. And then I go back and I cut my big block that I cut off at the beginning into smaller pieces. And that is how you make Beetlejuice inspired soap. I hope you guys had a great time watching this video. If you're interested in the recipe, it will be in the link in the description for $5 on my website. Otherwise, you can sign up for my Patreon for as little as $1 and you'll have access to all of my soap making recipes. That includes right now the Boogeyman inspired soap and the Rainbow Energy soap, as well as, of course, this Beetlejuice inspired soap. My background is from Cozy Rain. Thank you, Cozy Rain, for the background. Thank you once again to Before Bed LLC for the recipe on how to make our fluffy soap for the top of our soap bars. If you guys make this soap, make sure to tag me in any pictures or videos that you take. My handle is @ArtisticAnticsLLC. I am available on Instagram and TikTok. I try to post on TikTok every day. I hope you guys had a great time and I will catch you guys later.